Now, what I have to say today applies mainly to large first-year classes of, say, maybe even 100 or more students, although I would consider anything over 25 to be a large class. I would consider you to be a large class. Oh, you're on the threshold. I mean, I think if you were to take one of my courses or this size group, we could work on a different level. We would get to know each other. I would get to know all of you. You would get to know all of each other. But that's about the upper limit, I think. You get much higher than that, and I think we're into large class. So bear in mind that we are talking here then today mostly about first-year students with their special problems and insecurities. And although we cannot speak any longer of typical first-year students, from all sorts of points of view, age, ethnicity, English as a second or third language, etc., many of these things changing from my time when I was your age, we still, I think, can see that the typical student will be still the majority will be in the 18 to 21 age bracket. They will have come from high schools where the average class size was maybe, I don't know what, 20 to 35 or 40. Therefore, the large first-year university class will be a very intimidating experience for them, needless to say. Now, there is a video in the Teaching Resource Center that some of you may have seen by, I think he was from Ohio State University, a man called Reese McGee, and it's called Handling the Hordes. Handling the Hordes, Teaching Large Classes. And one of the things I remembered from McGee's presentation is this insight. He says somewhere that a large class is not a social group, but it is an audience. And what does an audience expect? Well, an audience, I guess, expects a performance. And what do people expect from a performance? Well, they expect to be entertained. Well, this brings me to some curious and rather depressing observations. In fact, it has been my experience that the more scintillating the performance in a large class, the lower the level of comprehension and learning. In a large class, in such a situation, it seems that, to use a term that a very eccentric experimental composer, Charles Ives, talked about a great deal, manner, it seems, triumphs over substance. That is to say, the more dazzling the performance, the greater the tendency for students to become passive observers of the show, as if they were watching a huge TV screen, rather than active thinkers engaged in a dialogue, vocal or silent, with the lecturer. If this is true, then, what is the remedy? Well, clearly the remedy is dull lectures. Obviously not. What then? Well, what McGee doesn't explore in his video are, at least I don't remember that he explored it, are strategies for turning audiences into social groups.